Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. And welcome to the show, everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day and a great week. And we'll see. I don't know, but we'll see. And we've got a great show for you today. The two people that come on here. But first, I'm not going to introduce them. And I have disrupted my own train of thought of what I was going to do. But in any event, John Varicose is with us, and he is part of the Positive Talk team. I am so pleased that he is here with us today. And John, you haven't met Amy and Nancy very much, so I want you to introduce them.
Well, of course, why not? Just go ahead and throw me out there. I tell you, Kevin, it's one of those days where if it were any better, I'd have to be twins to enjoy it. And then I look online, and here we have Amy and Nancy, and of course they're not necessarily twins, but they have put together an amazing project, the Passionistas Project, and I can't wait to hear more about it. And so I'm going to turn it over and let our new guests, well, you're a regular guest, my first time getting the pleasure to meet you, and I really am looking forward to today's show.
And they are wonderful sisters that have taken their lives and are doing really, really, really good things with them. And they brought somebody with them today who is also doing something really cool. So, but first, Amy and Nancy, welcome to the show. How are you?
We're great, Kevin. It's good to be back. It's always good to see you.
Yep. And so nice to meet John. We're excited that there's a new member of the Positive Talk team that we get to hang out with. And we've already talked for a few minutes off camera, and we have tons in common and lots of good stories that we're going to swap about. Fun people. So we're excited.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's do this.
Yeah. So Nan, would you like to introduce Shoshana?
I would love to introduce Shoshana. So what we do when we come on Positive Talk Radio, first and third Wednesday of every month, is we bring somebody with us from our Passionistas community. So this week we are bringing Shoshana Kaplan, who is the founder of PIFSTER, which is an amazing organization, and we'll let her tell you more about it. But she also has a background in the entertainment world, so we all have a lot in common and fun things to talk about. But welcome, Shoshana, and why don't you tell us a little bit about PIFSTER?
Oh, thank you, Nancy. I appreciate that. Yeah, we do have a lot of history with the entertainment world. It all started during COVID. Our neighborhoods were shut down, and lots of people were suffering. And especially in my neighborhood, it was considered a hot spot. So there was a lot of issues. But I'm sure everybody's neighborhood was, shut down and had a lot of issues. I mean, it affected all of us, and especially the elderly. And I noticed about 3 months in, these really small nonprofits I'd never heard of, came in and were taking the elderly out for walks and taking them grocery shopping. And as I got to know them, I had never heard of these nonprofits. And so, my husband and I talked a lot about it, and we realized that there are many nonprofits, small ones, right in your backyard. And that is when I found my new calling, which was to support these small nonprofits. There's 1.8 million nonprofits in America, and we have only heard of maybe the top 5. And there are some amazing warriors, community warriors, that we want to pay it forward to, which is how it all started, in our own backyard. And I said to my husband one day, if I had $1 for everybody that cared, we wouldn't have these problems. And that's how it all got started. So we developed an app, and it's called PIFSTER, the Pay It Forward app. It's a 501c3 itself. And what we do is we crowdsource $1 a month donations, because if we all chipped in, we all could help each other. Our users suggest where to pay it forward because they're in their communities. They know what is happening in their communities, what is needed. And then those suggestions are vetted. And then every month we have 4 different amazing causes to vote on. Whoever gets the most votes at the end of the month gets the monthly dollar pot. and it's been amazing.
And I've got to go back in the midst of time because there's somebody in our audience is asking, okay, so we know because we've been listening to the show that Amy and Nancy interview stars and we're on the red carpet and all that kind of stuff. But we don't know what you did in entertainment yet. And I do believe that you would be somebody that could make John and I look good on video. Would that be correct?
That would be correct. That would be correct. But beauty is subjective, as we know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was a union makeup artist in the film and entertainment industry for 36 years. Long time. And COVID obviously shut down our industry. And though I was day playing on Westworld, which was fun at the time that everything shut down. But yeah, it was a long career. I was the head of hair and makeup for Dancing with the Stars for the first 5 years. And I did many shows.
All the way back to Barney Miller.
Yes, all the way back.
Credit.
Yeah.
Now, isn't that funny? You mentioned Barney Miller. Kevin and I were talking about Barney Miller earlier today because the reruns have been on lately,
gosh.
and my wife and I have forgotten how much we enjoyed that show when it was on, and we've been watching them religiously every night. There's 2 episodes every night.
Yeah, I wasn't able to go to the best.
Yeah.
Fish. He was just the best.
Yes.
I know.
Well, I had a chance to meet Hal Linden, and when I met him, I said, we used to watch Barney Miller, and I have to tell you, I learned a lot about the leadership and good leadership ethics and good leadership styles from the way the Barney Miller character, handled the situations that would arise in the room. And he said, well, you realize that wasn't me. That was all scripted. That was a show. I said,
writers.
And I said to him, I said, that's why I said Barney Miller character. I do understand. I said, but you portrayed the character well, but the character was scripted in a way and you made that character believable. But I actually got some good lessons from that show and your portrayal of that character. And then he was like, okay, you're not a crazy fan who thinks I'm really Barney Miller.
Yeah, he's a lovely, gracious gentleman, always.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you, what's
Yes.
John Travolta like?
Actually, I worked on Michael with John Travolta.
The movie
And-
Michael?
Really?
Yeah, the movie Michael
Oh, I
in
love
Austin,
that
Texas.
movie. I used
That
to
was
listen
a
to the
great
great
movie.
soundtrack all the time. I loved that song.
Am I mistaken? Was he not in Barney Miller?
Mm-mm.
No,
No.
that's
No,
That's,
you are
Hochak.
not mistaken.
Cotter.
You,
That's
you
what-
are not you are not mistaken. He was not in Barney Miller.
Oh, jeez.
Welcome
Well,
back,
it's
Tom.
really, I just got to say before we continue, it's really not fair. You've met Hal Linden. You guys, we talked about Danny DeVito. You've met all kinds of celebrities. JP Patches was the biggest celebrity I ever met. And nobody has any idea. If you don't live in Seattle, nobody has any idea who that is.
I have no idea who that is. Was he like the local clown or something?
Yeah, one time when I was growing up, he had a show. He had a show at the City Dump, and it was JP Patches and Gertrude. Gertrude was a guy, and I met them both, and they were on in the morning and in the afternoon because they were so popular with the kids. So we would get up and watch them in the morning, and then we'd go to school, and then we'd get up and watch them in the afternoon. So, and they're all gone now, but that's about the most famous person. So I'll shut up and let you guys go.
Well, the good thing is now if you meet John Travolta, you won't ask him about
Barney Miller.
Barney Miller.
it saved you an embarrassing moment.
I have to tell you one evening when I was fortunate enough to have worked with Peter Tork from the Monkees, and somebody came up to him after one of the shows and said, "Peter, I've always wondered this. What did that mean in your song when you said number 9, number 9, number 9?"
I know.
And Peter, God bless him, just said, I think you're thinking of another band.
Little band no one ever talks about anymore.
No.
And that would be the Beatles, and it was side 4, last song on the side. Revolution, the slow version, was number 1 on that side, and several others. But Revolution number 9 and number 9, number 9.
At least Peter was not nice about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Well, let's get back to talking about the subject at hand, which is, Shoshana, you are working with this nonprofit, and I think it's wonderful what you're doing. How's it being received?
People love it. People love the idea. We just had a booth at Latino Fest last weekend at the Panorama City Mall in California. And it was so lovely. Families were just giving us dollars. I mean, it was just so nice. And I think the community loves it because everybody realizes when you start to talk about it, that it's really easy to help each other. Yeah. You know, everybody wants to make a big impact, but we don't realize that together we're stronger and we can make a big impact by grouping together and helping each other.
Now,
I love that it's $1. I love it's like, how can you not have $1? I know people say that all the time, like, well, how can you not have $10 or how can you not have $20? But it's like, well, some people don't. But $1, it's you can
25 cents a week.
Yeah,
$1 a month, and it makes a huge impact. It really does. There was, I think I had told you this before, Nancy. There was a little boy in Oregon who needed heart medication, and his medicine cost $800, and we raised $804 for him.
Wow!
So every dollar does make a difference, you know. And grouped together, we are so much stronger together.
Yeah.
And speaking of being stronger together, how did the 3 of you meet?
Well, I found the Passionistas. I was thinking about that this morning. I can't remember how I found the Passionistas Project, but I loved it. There are amazing women doing amazing things, or should I say amazing women doing extraordinary things. But there's just a good community of women that support each other, encourage each other. And there's just a lot of authenticity. And I just really liked the community. So I started getting involved. And of course, Nancy and Amy want to know everyone who's like, you know, making all the comments. And I was really active. And we made a meeting and we just sort of hit it off and realized that we had a lot in common.
Yeah. Well, we're so glad you found us. I mean, that's the beauty of the Passionistas Project. It's people are finding out about us. So we're meeting, because I did the same thing. I'm like, I searched before we came on. I'm like, how did we meet? It's like, you just watched.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was a blessing. It was a blessing.
Yes. Yeah. And we had this shared experience of having these Hollywood careers and leaving them behind and choosing to do something meaningful. And
yes,
so we became instant soulmates.
Yes. Yes. But I'm not just working with this nonprofit. This is my nonprofit. I literally took my life savings and I developed this app and this website. Like, it's my everything I've ever done is invested in this idea of helping each other for $1.
So beautiful.
And that shows where your heart is.
Oh, totally.
And it's being rewarded every single month when we get to pay it forward. Every single month we're helping people and changing people's lives.
It's beautiful. Because
they know that there's people out there that support them. And we also bring awareness of them. We put them on the website. We let them do a blog. You know, a lot of people don't know that there's these little tiny community warriors that have, I think we had talked about this before, you know, these small nonprofits, they're run by somebody who has experienced a trauma of their own and vowed that nobody else would go through what they went through. Right. And they are in it because their heart is in it and they don't want anyone else to suffer like they did. So they devote their own time, their own money into these people or animals or seniors. You know, they're really amazing people. And I think they need a voice in this giant pool of nonprofits.
Well, a lot of these.
Oh, sorry, Kevin. I was going to say, one of the things I love is that you give people the opportunity to nominate organizations too. So, you know, you can't know who all these 1.2 million people are out there doing good work, but we can all spread the word about each other. And I love that you give people the opportunity to do that.
Yes, all over the place.
The only way to find out.
Yeah, we've helped people in Hawaii, in New York, in Kansas, in Oregon, because it's not just about my community. Your community is just like my community. Some people need help. And that's what it's all about. I don't even decide who goes on the app. They go through vetting. If they meet the certain criteria, they're up on the app, no matter where they are. And I don't decide who votes. Everybody votes. The community votes.
And
Which I
you know,
love.
I can speak from personal experience, because if you're passionate about what you do, as 99.9% of the nonprofits are not in it to make money, they're in it for their passion on whatever it is. They're passionate, but I can speak from personal experience. The marketing side sometimes, as John keeps telling me, is a little lacking and because I'm passionate about what I do when doing this show, but the marketing side. And so you're helping people connect to that marketing angle that is so needed, so that these nonprofits can do something that a lot of them do, which is go out of business.
Yes.
And you know, when we talk about nonprofits, especially like this, and like you said, they're founded in somebody's individual passion, right? And when they bring people onto their team, they bring people onto their team that also are connected to the topic, to the subject expertise, and to the passion involved in the whole thing. But the thing that is always lacking is that they don't necessarily have the business sense, the marketing sense, the things that they need to do to actually keep the thing functional and operational. So, you know, they're digging out of their own pockets, they're scraping up whatever little bit they can, and ultimately, you know, they can run out of funds. I mean, I've seen nonprofits that take nonprofit just a bit too seriously, and they wind up, you know, going under because they're not able to sustain themselves. But this opportunity that you provide gets them some recognition, and the fact that people get to nominate them, that's how we find out that these places and these little small groups even exist.
Yes, I put a notice out last month for anybody that was boots on the ground in North Carolina, anybody that had boots on the ground that could help inform me of what is out there and to suggest these organizations that may need help. And I cannot believe the people that came through for me. So every month, like I said, we have 4 different causes. This month, we have 3 from North Carolina, Western North Carolina, where they're actually boots on the ground, bringing water to people, tearing roads through. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, and nobody knows. I didn't know that these smaller nonprofits existed. I mean, there's one 3 blocks from my house that she donates all her time to senior citizens. Didn't know. But now we can support her, and other people have now volunteered for her, and other people are now helping her. And it's just, that's the reward right there. Yeah. So we have some amazing organizations.
Sometimes we find out about these things.
Sorry?
No, I was just going to say, sometimes we find out about these things just by accident.
Yes.
You know,
or by needing services ourselves.
Yeah. Right.
And all of a sudden you realize that they exist.
There was a house fire a couple of days ago, and my neighbor lost his house, and lo and behold, small nonprofits came and said, do you need a place to stay? Do you need money for food? And again, these aren't the big 5 that we're all aware of. So you know what? And it's like these smaller nonprofits came through for him. It's really,
that's what happened when the tornado went through the town of La Plata, Maryland. You know, the big guys did ultimately come in. I mean, there were houses and businesses that there were literally nothing left but the concrete pad that they existed on prior. And I remember one house, the whole house was gone except for, and you know, tornadoes do weird things, but it just cut this house up, and there was one corner of one room still standing with a small table and a lamp and an urn with the ashes of the guy's wife.
Wow.
The rest of the place was completely gone.
Wow.
Could you imagine? I mean, that kind of a tragedy, but who came through were all these small little organizations that we didn't even know existed. And the first thing they did was they went and they got that urn and helped preserve it for him till this guy could get back on his feet.
Oh.
It was amazing.
I love that. I love that.
So,
and boy, visually, I could totally see just the one room standing.
Yeah.
See, if you, from my perspective, I believe that he was saying, nope, you're not taking my ashes.
Mind intervention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, so you came up with this idea and you and your husband kicked it around a little bit. There are people out there that are going to be listening to this show now or in the future that are saying the same things to themselves. Okay, I really want to make a legacy. I want to do something great for humanity, but I have no earthly idea how. What were some of the first steps you took in order to make this all happen and to flourish the way it has?
Well, do your research. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit.
You can't quit. Is that what you're saying?
It is overwhelming. I mean, when we realized that there was 1.8 million nonprofits, we were both like, oh my goodness, where do we begin? And how do we vet them? And, just stay strong and keep educating yourself. And if it's something that you really love, just keep learning. Keep learning.
How did you figure out the technical part? Because that's a big undertaking to create your own app.
Well, that's interesting. I learned through this process that if you don't know what you want your app to look like, I don't know how you develop one. So what my husband and I did is we sat down and we said, okay, what do we want the first page to look like? And where do we want that to go to? But that took a good 4 months almost. And then sometimes we'd put it away and go, oh my gosh, is it too much for us? Maybe we're not cut out for this. Maybe we should just go back to work, where this is too much. And then again, I kept hearing myself, don't quit. Don't quit. And it just became a real passion and it just kept us going. And every day I'd wake up and think, okay, what page one going to go to page 2? And what do we want that to look like? And then we found a developer and we worked with him and he gave us a lot of information and we just kept learning and kept learning. I kept reading every day, how to develop your own app and what do you want it to look like? And, you just keep learning. And we've made a lot of mistakes, but you just don't quit.
Yeah, well, the important part is to remember that always make new mistakes.
Yes. And learn from them.
Just keep learning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when did it finally launch?
I'm sorry?
When did it finally launch?
It launched 19 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And our family was super supportive. They were our first Pipsters.
So just for context, understanding that this show is going to be out there in perpetuity, instead of 19 months ago, we're saying what, middle of 2023, roughly?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So we want to give that perspective for people who are listening to this 10, 15 years down the road, that they don't think it's a brand new idea then. Right. We want them to know that this has been going on for a while and it has a legacy to it. And
19 times we have
created.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Since mid 2023. And it's been interesting. Also because this is my passion. And like we said, marketing is not my specialty. As a makeup artist, I know how to sell myself because I have a portfolio. And I could say, well, I did this and I did that. But as a nonprofit, trying to get people to donate dollars is a whole different story. Mm-hmm. So I'm grateful for Amy and Nancy, and I'm grateful for you, Kevin, and for the show, because positivity is what it's all about for me. But yes, we would love people to donate $1 a month and go to pipster.org and learn more about what we've been doing.
That's great. So because I am new to the Passionistas Project,
yes.
explain to me how, and for the listeners who maybe this is the first time they're tuning in to a Passionistas Project episode, explain to me the relationship, how it works between the Passionistas and Pipster.
Well, all of our Passionistas are members of our online community. We have a community where women can come and get support and resources, and most importantly, just connect with one another. So Amy and our passion is just waking up every day and trying to figure out what we're going to do today to help promote women.
I like how you started it with waking up every day, because that helps.
That helps.
Some days are easier than others.
Some days
because like the world. The world's shortest blues song is "I didn't wake up this morning."
Okay. So we spend our days trying to help women and uplift each other and support one another. And any woman who joins the Passionistas Project community is a Passionista, and we do what we can to help support them and introduce them to one another and build a microeconomy of women buying from other women and supporting other women.
So is it primarily focused on women entrepreneurs?
No, not at all. It's actually, unlike most online communities, we are not just about business networking. We actually have 3 pillars. So we are business development, personal growth, and social impact. And what we find is even the women that come because they have a business or because they have some project like this that they're trying to get off the ground, everybody in our community really are people who want to give back in some way, whether that's a coach who wants to help somebody on a one-on-one level, or someone like Shoshana who's trying to change the world with this app. So it's a very giving community, and there is business networking, of course. Everybody's promoting their projects if they have one, but it's not salesy. It's never. It's a really, people don't understand it until they're part of it. And I think the way Shoshana explained it, I'm so grateful for early on, because it's a buzzword now to say you can be your authentic self, but people keep telling to us that they can't believe they actually can be themselves. They can come and be messy. They can come and have a bad day. They can ask people for support. So it's a really beautiful space where even if you're there for business development, you don't have to walk in a suit with a briefcase and a business card. You can just say, like, I'm looking, has anybody ever done this before? I don't know what to do. And people are there for you.
It's more than just traditional networking.
Yes.
Now, my wife says I'm in touch with my feminine side, so now I want to join.
We are going to open up space to allies in 2025. We had one briefly for a course that we had on a political topic, but we're gonna open up a space in 2025 for men to join that space exclusively, where they can learn from the women in our community. Because we've had men come to our events and they say they're blown away because the women talk to each other in a way that they don't when there are men in the room. And so it's very educational for men to hear women talk on various topics when they're just kind of the fly on the wall. So we're going to welcome some allies in, but right now it's just women and gender non-conforming, non-binary people. So you tell your wife to join, and then she can tell you later what we said.
It's pretty amazing when you listen to a group of women talking and they don't think that there's a man listening. That conversation is completely different, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It is, because we've been trained to edit ourselves, in a way. Just like I'm sure a group of men, I know I used to be in a male-dominated industry. I was a studio executive, and I was a lot of the time the only woman in the room. And what I would do is do my best to make sure that the men did not think of me as the woman in the room. Like if they would make an off-color joke, I would know that I had passed a threshold where they weren't worried about saying something that was going to freak the girl out. And I'd be like, okay, good, I'm in with the guys. So I know that men talk differently when there aren't women in the room, and women talk differently when men aren't there. It's just a different, we can be free to say things that, I don't want the men in my life to think that I don't appreciate them and support them, but there are certain things women go through that we can talk about in a way without a man there. That's not meant to be man bashing or anti-man, but it's just a reality of a conversation about the reality in which women live.
Yes.
I understand. Well, and I can validate the fact that men speak differently when there's no women present. I was in the Navy and I was on a ship with 350 other guys. We didn't have women on ships back then. So
that's a whole other level. I can't even imagine.
The sailor vocabulary is very different, I'll tell you that.
Well, and from my past, most of my time was spent around women. Yeah. I was in the restaurant business, and so we had waiters and waitresses and bartenders and all that stuff. Most of them were women. So
my pre-Navy time and post-Navy time was mostly women as well.
It's so interesting.
Is it weird for me to say I like women better than men? Is that okay?
No. Completely understandable.
I love you, Kevin.
Men are great. No, but I do think, Kevin, you have I know from talking to you so many times now, you are very comfortable talking to women, and we've done this show 20 times now, and it's pretty much been you and a bunch of women, and you fit right in. It's
He's not threatened.
Weird. Yeah, you're
No,
totally.
you guys are cool. A lot of men are still dragging their knuckles on the ground trying to decide who's got the bigger car. And I don't get into that kind of thing because it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't care. My car's 13 years old out there. It's got 6,000 or 60,000 miles on it. I'm going to have that thing till the day I die. I don't care. I have one pair of shoes. I don't care how many, anyway. But I love the mission that you guys are on, because in all seriousness, well, most women that I've talked to on this show and elsewhere have gone through in their lifetime is something that is abhorrent to me, and something that we all need to work together to get through those things, because they've had to deal with these idiots that have been in their life that have caused these things to happen to them. And bless you for doing this. It really is important that women have got a safe place that they can go and they can talk about their fears, what happened to them in the past, how to get through it. And what they'll find is that when they tell their story, 2/3 of the people in the room will raise their hand and say, correct me if I'm wrong, Amy, is that true?
Yeah. And it's interesting. Our latest project is we're doing an anthology book of stories about empowerment from women. And it's a separate program from the Passionistas Project, but it's a companion project. And the way a lot of anthology books, you pay to be a part of the book, but a lot of them you just, okay, here's my chapter and that's it. We had a workshop, and our big thing is anybody that wants to be in the book, we interview them. So we use our interview skills to help them tell their stories, because most of these women have never sat down to write before. So we just say, tell us your story. And then we ask questions and we help draw out the important elements. And every one of them that we've done the interview with has come on and said, I don't know if anybody's going to care about this or have any connection to it whatsoever. And every story is like, we know 15 women in the sisterhood that are going through that exact same thing right now that completely relate to this, let alone other women out in the world. But all of our stories are so relevant to each other, and whether something terrible happened to you in the past or whether your life has been fairly, rosy, there's some of us that are luckier than others to have had, not a lot of trauma and things like that. But everybody's got a story that matters and that we can each relate to. Every story someone's told us, I relate to it in some way, even if I haven't lived a similar experience. Yeah. And so we just want to give people, really at the core of the Passionistas Project, it's about giving a voice to women who are not often heard, which is why we love organizations like Shoshana's, which is why we welcome women from marginalized communities and try and lift them up as much as possible, because they don't get the opportunity to be heard.
And Shoshana, I just got to ask you, now, I don't know if they told you, but I'm a little psychic. What's your cat's name?
Did you? I have his name's Max.
See, told you.
Yeah, I have 3 dogs and 1 cat. Yes, I can't.
And we know which one rules the house, right? It's the cat.
Well, the cat rules the house for sure, for sure. Yep. But yeah, I have a bad habit of not leaving anything in the street that I think is alone. So,
well, bless you for that.
That's how we wound up with our cats.
Yes. All my animals are from my street. They were either running down the street or stuck in the street. Oh. Yeah, but they're my babies now. They've got good lives. Yeah.
And again, it's another example of where your heart is.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Shoshana, I'm curious to know what your dream is for the future of the app. What do you hope comes of all of this down the road?
Well, I would love to see a rolling fund traveling across our nation and helping these amazing caregivers continue to do what they do. Like, that would be a dream for me, just to alleviate the worry. Because again, it's like you said, John, you know, these people that have started these nonprofits only know how to care give. You know, they don't know how to market and to run a board and to even do the taxes and the accounting. And then all of a sudden now they have this big business that they need to maintain, when really they just have an affinity or a care for seniors or for animals. Right. I would love a rolling fund to go across the world and to just support them and allow them to do what they do best, because I can't do what they do, but I can give $1 and support them. You know, it's funny. I was telling my husband the other day, if we gave a dog rescue $10,000, they're not going to go on vacation to Hawaii. They're going to rescue more dogs.
Yeah.
And I can't rescue dogs. Well, I do rescue some dogs, but some people have like, 20, 30 dogs that they have. Mm-hmm. I want to support them. Yeah. So that would be my dream.
And yet if you go to a corporate entity and give them $10,000, they're going to go on vacation to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That money is just going to disappear into the never land of corporate America.
Mm-hmm. Well, and wouldn't it be great if there were like buses that, that we could have rolling down the street, caring for our seniors, free medical care, free appointments, or even a bus that had a salon, free haircuts, free facials, free pedicures, or a bus that had a veterinary clinic on it that could go around and help, low-income neighborhoods maybe. I mean, it's just, I have so many ideas, but of course it takes dollar givers. So
have you heard of
and there are entities that are doing that.
I worked on the beauty bus before.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you knew about it.
Oh yeah, I loved it. It was the most fulfilling day. We went to a senior's home and we gave haircuts, and it was so much fun.
Yeah. My old roommate Amy Tooman is a part of that organization. Great.
The beauty bus. I love it.
Yeah.
Beauty bus.
I would love to support things like that. I love that Pipster could support things like that all around the world. So
we will nominate.
Yes.
Well, I love your concept, because there are, what are there, John? 340 million people in America?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
If everybody gave $1.
Imagine if everyone gave $1.
I know.
Oh my goodness. We could resolve some of these issues, not just maintain them or not just cure a small problem. We could resolve some of these issues forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we get to some athletes that make $250 million in 10 years, to give $1 million, I'm just saying.
Well, I keep saying, I like it.
I must admit, and I'm probably going to tick off all the professional athletes out there, but there's no reason on the planet for you to make that kind of money.
Not unless you're going to do something good with it.
Nope.
Yeah. And especially when school teachers and nurses and doctors and firefighters make so little,
the poverty level,
really important things in the world.
Yeah.
And people can give more than $1. Like my dad donates $10 a month, so people can donate, more than $1. But yes, I agree. I think that our warriors, our community givers and our community warriors, there's definitely an imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody in our audience that's got a pencil and a piece of paper, and they would love to know what website it is so that they can go and donate to it.
So it's pifster.org. That's PIF as in pay it forward, STER. Pifster.org. You can donate to the Pifster organization, which is my husband and I, to help us maintain the app and the website, or you can become a Pifster by hitting Pifster on our website, and it will take you right to the app where you can donate $1 a month or more, and then suggest as many nonprofits that you want to pay it forward to.
Now, does that come from from their credit card or PayPal, or can they do a bunch?
They can do either.
Cool. Because PayPal, I tell you, they're really easy. You can just, do your PayPal account, and then you say, I want $1 to go here once a month, and you can make it reoccurring, and they'll take it directly out of your bank account. You don't have to worry about fees or any of that and stuff. So that's really, really good idea there.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't pay $1 to, help feed a family? Who wouldn't pay $1 to take care of a neglected animal? Who wouldn't pay $1 for someone to come and spend time with a senior? I mean, there's no limits. That's why I was like, we got to keep it $1, because everybody feels good about donating, and it doesn't have to be hundreds and hundreds of dollars to make that impact that you need to feel good. $1 makes a huge difference. And also we make every month we make videos showing your money doing what you voted it to do, because transparency is really important.
Excellent. Who do you have making your videos?
My husband and I, which is kind of funny actually, but yes.
If you ever need any help,
right?
If you ever need any help with the videos, we'll be happy to talk to you in regards to, or anybody else out there, because we are a multimedia company as well as we do the podcast. So we do videos, we do lots of different things.
Well, that's something I would like to talk about because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard unless you have somebody else who knows what they're doing it.
Yes, exactly. Well, my husband's an editor in the TV industry, so he can edit the media once we get it. But getting out there to all these different nonprofits has been the challenge, and actually getting enough footage has also been a challenge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
especially when they're scattered all over the place.
Yes.
But with the power of the iPhone, it's amazing.
Yes.
Now, are you nationally focused, or are you international at this point?
Well, it would be my dream if it was around the world, but that's a whole different set of laws. But right now we're a 501c3, which limits us to America, which is good. It's fine. I mean, we need help in America right now. So our 1.8 million nonprofits still need a voice. So minus the 5 big ones.
Well, one of the commercials or the public service announcements, that's it, that we play is about Carriage House. And Carriage House, and they tell us that there are 4 million kids that are either homeless or in foster care, and they don't have the care that they need. In the United States of America, 4 million kids at any given time. That's criminal. That should not be happening here.
That just doesn't make sense to me.
No.
It doesn't, and a lot of those kids end up in the justice system and being incarcerated, or they don't graduate from high school. And I'm telling you, if you can't read or write, you cannot work and you cannot be a member of this society. You just can't. But we should all be thinking in terms of helping kids and to get rid of that, because it doesn't make any sense to me either.
Agreed. There's many organizations out there supporting children, and they have a hard time getting grants, because you have to pay someone to write a grant proposal, which is unbelievable to me, that these nonprofits that want to help our children have to pay somebody to get a grant proposal written, even to get the grant that is designated for them to support children.
Right.
Yeah. It's just
somewhere along the line that doesn't make any sense.
No, the loopholes that they have to go through are just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that being said, I just want to make this clear to everybody that the charities that you support are vetted by you, and making sure that they are real, honest to goodness out there to help the kids, and aren't, because there are some nonprofits, and I'm not going to throw any stones, but there are a few that when they do television ads and stuff, they get maybe 10% and 90% goes to the ad budget. And so they're not able to help the way that they say that they do in the ad. Does that make sense to you?
And it's not just even the ads. There are some entities out there that have so much overhead, just administrative costs, and pay high-end salaries to the management and the boards that are behind them, that ultimately you get pennies on the dollar that actually go to the cause. Now, I'm not saying all nonprofits are like that, and it's certainly not, but that's what right, there are, especially the big, the some of the larger ones, because they are doing all that advertising budget and all that other stuff. Back in the day, when I first started in the broadcasting industry 40 years ago, we did, there were things as public service announcements where you didn't have to pay to put those things on the air, and all of the channels were required to dedicate X amount of airtime towards these no charge public service announcements. That's gone away. Everything is paid for now. So there's no such thing as a nonprofit getting free airtime on most of your commercial network type channels. So things have changed over the years considerably. Now, thankfully for streaming channels and things like this, that there are more opportunities to get out there. But, you know, we need organizations like yours, Shoshana, to really help get the visibility on these organizations that can't afford to be out there otherwise.
Well, we do spend a lot of time vetting. We do. We go through their company history. We make sure that they're legit. We go through all of their financials to make sure that at least 85% of the money coming in goes to the cause. Because we find that when officers have $1 million salaries, there's no incentive to solve the problem.
Right.
Right.
Oh, they just want to make the problem bigger.
Yes.
So, you know, Ann and Nancy, I'm saddened by the fact that John has been in the business for 40 years. Do you realize that was 1985?
Oh, I can't even do that.
We're right there with you.
La, 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 la.
Actually, 1981.
Oh, so it's even more than 40
Even
years.
more painful.
But I remember one of these days I'm going to make him drag it out. But he actually was a dance king, disco dance king, and he's got a picture to prove it.
All right.
All right.
Back
Back in the 70s.
Very
Back in the
special
70s, I was a
John
disco
Travolta.
dance instructor. I'm the original John Revolting, is what I am.
You still have the white suit.
It's
No,
sequin.
that one doesn't fit anymore. But there is one picture that exists in the world which will never ever wind up online anywhere. But it is a silver lame jumpsuit, just to give you.
Oh,
a nightmare.
goodness. Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
Shoshana's probably seen her fair share of those too.
Yeah,
Yes,
really.
yes, I have.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
do
of
you
course,
remember the
I
Don
can't do the
Kirshner rock
stars and all of
concert?
that.
Remember
Oh,
the?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, my friend and I went to see the Police there. I think I was 13 years old, and my friend pulled it out and she outed me on Facebook. She put it on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Yeah, it was a great concert, but yeah, it was a great show. The Don Kirshner rock concert.
Well, you know, one of these days we're going to have to get together and just go down memory lane, talking about the 70s and the 80s. I can go talk about the 60s, but that's a little bit,
Well,
you know, what's interesting is
don't forget, I'm only a year behind you, Kevin. So
yeah, but you know, the interesting thing about that, John, is that year means a lot because I was born in 57. You were born in 59?
58.
Oh, 58. Okay. This is not
1 year. Yeah.
Do you remember John Kennedy's? Well, never mind. We can't go down that road. But in any event, Sean, I got to tell you, I am so pleased that the Passionistas are working with you and you're working to make a difference in the world. And if somebody wants to call you or talk to you about, hey, you know, I love what you're doing. I'd like to either join you or I'd like to do what you're doing or some similar thing. How can they get a hold of you? Through your website?
Absolutely. They can either go to info@pifster.org or Shoshana@pifster.org. And it's Shashana. And yes, me too. I'm very grateful that I met Amy and Nancy. I really love the support and the community that they have offered women. And again, I wish I could remember how I came in because I just jumped in, really.
Funny.
It may be
One of
red
those
wine and
magical
blue.
moments.
That's all I can think is red wine and blue, but I don't know.
You know, and Amy and Nancy, I just want to point this out that you know what would happen if you two had not decided to start doing what you're doing?
What?
Nothing.
Oh, I'm sure they would have done something amazing. I'm sure.
Oh, but nothing would have happened along this line to help so many people.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. If nothing happens, nothing happens. And if nothing happens, we are worse today than we were yesterday. We all have to work together to achieve, to be great. And we just need to know it and we need to work together for it. So give them $1, would you please, ladies and gentlemen?
We'll take it.
So a couple of things I want to ask. Shoshana, you have a very interesting name, by the way. It's a very pretty name, but I have to ask, what's the derivation? Where does it come from?
Well, my mom was an artist and she always knew, or she, in her mind, I was going to be an artist and my brother was going to be in business. So she always liked the Hebrew name Shoshana. And then there's the Indian name Shashani. And she, being the artist that she was, thought, okay, well, I'll just combine them and that will be a great artist name. And literally I can remember being a baby and I had crayons and paintbrushes in my hands long before I had a pencil and paper.
And did your brother in business?
Yes, my brother's in business. Yep. Yep. I mean, it kind of worked out because.
But you also worked for many years as an artist. You were a makeup artist.
Yes. Yes.
So you did wind up in the industry. You did wind up doing art in a fashion.
And I still paint for my mental state, or to help my mental state. I still paint and do things. And then the kids in the neighborhood, I do a lot of fake tattoo parties for the kids in the neighborhood.
Oh, that's good.
I love it. I love it. You know, there's something about the people forget the importance of the arts. You know, we're always so focused on, you know, math and history and English, and those are important, but the arts are equally as important, because without that opportunity to build on our creativity, then nothing else really clicks. Nothing else will stay. I used to draw all the time and that kind of stuff. And I used to get in trouble on purpose so that I would be sent to my room, where I would sit there with my pad and colored pencils and all of that. And I would just sit and draw for hours and hours. And over the years, I've found as I got older, I became impatient. And I put pencil to paper and like, why is it not done? I had this vision and it's not there yet. And so it's taken me a while to kind of get back to a point where I can get back into art again. Now I do things a little differently. I haven't picked up drawing again yet. My wife and I have started doing painting classes, you know, those paint nights, and that's fun.
Oh, fun.
And then I also I'll build models. Of course, I do monster models because I like monster movies. But I'll build and paint, you know, and do scenarios and dioramas and stuff like that. And that's my creative juice. But those creative juices are so important to be able to put those things forward.
You guys should see his man cave that's got all the horror movie paraphernalia.
Classic monster movies. Not horror movies. I don't do the Freddy Krueger, the slashers. They're classic monster movies and cheesy monster movies from like the 50s with the big rubber.
And if I could add one more thing about the arts, that if your kids don't have a desire to be an artist and to paint, please take your kids and put them into drama, into improvisational drama class.
Anything. Yes. Especially
wherever you can find it. Put them in that, because it will give them a sense of self and a sense of self-esteem, so that they can do almost anything, and they can talk to people, and they can become terrific. Every terrific salesperson that I ever worked for or worked for me had taken drama, because they understood how it works. So get your kids out there, get them away from the damn computer in their hands. And get them doing something, either art or drama or music or something.
Yes.
All those things. Hey, before we run out of time, there's something I'm going to ask, because we haven't had a chance to do that. And it's my first time meeting the Passionistas. And so how do people get in touch with you?
The easiest way is go to our website, which is thepassionistasproject.com. And there's a tab for the sisterhood. You can click on that, and there's a link that'll take you right to the sisterhood, where you can sign up for either the free or the premium level. So, and you can also find out about all the other things we do, our podcast and our storyteller workshop, and all sorts of great things that we do.
How many people are in the sisterhood now?
Almost 360, I think.
Yeah, that's just we launched it in March, so that's just in
wow.
Our social media network is about 20,000 people, but in terms of the sisterhood, we're migrating people over, and it's getting bigger every day.
20,000 people. You must be very proud.
We're very happy. We're very lucky.
That's amazing. And now you've got 1.6 million listeners.
Well, that's the thing we always tell people. Our social media network is 20,000 people, but our network of spider web of Passionistas is insane. And we'll go to a networking event on a platform and that we'll just like find online, and it will be like, oh, there's Kim. Oh, there's so the Passionistas circle is closing in a really good way. So
That's amazing.
That's beautiful.
and we're worldwide. We have members in Australia, across Canada, France.
Know anyone in Antarctica? That's the only place we haven't reached.
I have a feeling John knows someone in Antarctica.
No, maybe a penguin or two, perhaps.
Yeah.
As long as it's a female penguin.
Actually, there very well may be somebody in the Navy who's stationed down there now. So.
Sure.
If you know a woman down there, you let us know.
And ladies, I'd like to thank you all for being here. And John, you add so much to the show. And Holly is here with us in spirit.
Always.
And we appreciate her. She is part of the sisterhood, by the way.
Yes, she is. And she's going to be part of our anthology book as well.
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
Hey, Kevin, can I say
I'd like to
one
learn
more?
about that anthology book too, because I have some people that I think might enjoy being part of that.
Well, we'll connect offline.
Yeah.
Kevin, can I say one more thing?
No, of course.
I know this is not a political show, so I'm not going to get specific, but I would just like to say, I really hope everybody goes out to vote if you haven't already, and that you load up your car with all your friends and you go to your local polling place and you cast your vote for somebody that you think might do good for the country and for the people in it.
Yes.
And if you believe in the gospel according to Taylor Swift, I'm going to tell you, just calm down.
Exactly. Take my Pamela. That's all I'm going to say. Take my Pamela.
Yes. And everybody calm down. It's going to be fine.
Yes.
And everybody vote.
Absolutely.
Thank you for letting me say that.
Yeah. Vote with your heart, people.
Yes.
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 Okay.
And if you happen to be a woman, I can't imagine. By the way, I just got to say this because I do. John, I was in sports forever. I was in a men's locker room and boys' locker rooms forever. I never heard anyone, not one guy, talk like he did on that bus with what's his name?
Billy Bush.
Yes, Billy Bush. That is not an acceptable way for anyone to talk. And if you are a real honest to goodness man, you will disavow yourself of that kind of conversation because it's just not right. Anybody disagree with that?
No, I'm 100% on board with that conversation.
If we did, we wouldn't be on this show.
That's correct. So everybody take care of each other and be kind to one another. And of course, I say that here in a minute, but I just have to double it in. And Shoshana, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you for doing what you're doing. And with Amy and Nancy, I thank you for doing what you're doing. I mean, this is it. We all have to help each other. It's really simple. We all just have to pay a little attention and take care of each other. It doesn't take much.
No. And thank you for what you're doing. We appreciate it. Mwah.
And everybody just smile at each other and have something nice to say. My mother used to say that. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Oh, we have the same mother.
Ron, anything else you'd like to add?
I think that's it. I'm just going to say, remember that, we each have our own personal light that burns and shines for each other. And you don't have to blow out my candle to make yours burn brighter, but together our combined light can light up the world for everyone.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
Oh, that's very nice. Very
yes.
nice. Thank you, John.
All right.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got. That's Kevin at KMmedia.